Hi, and welcome to our special series we're producing for our Bot Radio Network listeners for Memphis and the Mid-South. I'm Byron Tyler here with Lynn Berry from the Branson Chamber, and you can go to explorebranson.com.
That's right, and you can find out all about Ozark Mountain Christmas. And you know what we're going to talk about? Let's talk about our families entertaining your family.
Yes, and this is a family place. And I'll tell you what, there's a couple of folks here in town that I love, and I've had on this show many times. Yeah. Clay and Tina Cooper.
Yes.
And my goodness, we've just enjoyed some great moments over the years. And they have a family. They've got two sons.
They do.
We've got Colton Cooper is here right now.
That's right.
Colton,
hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You're right. You're right about that.
We're starting early, right?
It is Merry.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow.
Yes.
So it's Halloween, is Christmas Eve in Branson.
And let's just mention that while we're recording our shows, that's when we're here, but we're kind of kicking this out.
That's right.
Through the first part of November here, so folks can learn about all of the wonderful things to plan. And one of those is hot rods and high heels at the Clay Cooper Theater.
Cool.
That's right.
Where
That's right.
Colton Cooper is on stage. Hey, last time I was here, got to go to the show. It's an incredible show. Your energy level,
That's right.
it is incredible. Singing, dancing,
Thank you.
fun. And, Colton, I mean, it's just great. I mean, you do a fantastic job. Okay, so who got the more preferential treatment growing up? Was it you or Caden?
I would say it was. I want to say it was probably me. I don't want to admit that, but I say it was probably me.
You're the favorite Cooper child.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I say I work more at the theater, so I see them more. So
True.
maybe that's why I get some more favoritism. I don't know.
What's your earliest memories of seeing mom and dad on stage?
Oh man. Well, I was out there with them at 18 months old. That's whenever I started on stage with them. So
Really?
I've been watching them while I was on stage. We were on there together,
Yeah.
So that was my first memories. And I remember doing Sonny and Cher with my mom, and being Sonny, and doing multiple duets with my dad, Righteous Brothers and Everly Brothers, and all this, and a lot of comedy skits.
So it's something you've always wanted to do? I mean, it just...
Oh yeah. Well, and at first, I mean, it was kind of, they put me on stage with them, but a lot of people think that it's something that I'm forced to do, but it's definitely not that.
Yeah.
Definitely not do that.
And they would never force one of their kids
So
to
when
be in
going
the
to
show.
school though, Colton, going up and peer pressure and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
oh, you're on stage. Did you have a trouble with any friends or anything?
I was a big kid in high school, and so people didn't really mess with me. People didn't mess with me. I played football and basketball, and I kept my schooling and performing separate. I never did any of the musicals or or I didn't do choir, jazz band. I didn't do any of that in high school. I made sure that I stuck to what I loved in school, and what I loved to do outside of school I kept really separate, because I wanted to have the same life as kids in high school, and be able to play football and play basketball and do track and be able to go home and then sing. And it was the best of both worlds.
Well, what you're saying there, it makes me think of your dad when you talk about prioritizing things, from your stage life and into your, school life and those kind of things that you prioritize in family life. Mm-hmm. And I know your dad and your mom too have done just that same thing, Lynn.
Yes.
Prioritizing. When you had a football game, they were there.
They were there.
Yeah. Whenever I started, my sophomore year was my first year starting varsity, and from there on, we saw a schedule change. We were going from Friday 7:30 shows to Friday 2 p.m. So they could be at every single 7 o'clock game, and that's how it was, and that's how it's going to be for Caden. You're going to see changes to the schedule probably with Caden. So
you bet.
How does that make you feel as a son?
It makes me feel great. Feel loved, and knowing that even though they have a huge 80, 90 employees to run and to take charge of, they're still going to be there for us, for their kids, and that's a great feeling.
Colton, I follow you guys on social media, and I love doing that. It seems like y'all have a little too much fun backstage.
No, I would say so. Well, and the cool thing that people also don't see is that all these people that we work with have been, they're my grandparents. R.P. Harrell is my grandparent. Barry Bells, who just passed away, he was a grandparent, and all those entertainers and dancers, and they're all moms and grandparents, and Matt Gum.
Crazy uncle.
Matt Gum, he's like a brother to me. I mean, it's so cool, and I think that's where the fun comes into play, is that they're all family. It's not just your employee.
That's right.
Do y'all like to play practical jokes on each other? I mean, does anybody ever play a practical joke on you? You have a story that you can share with us?
Well, we just had one that we posted recently where it was the saran wrap, and we kind of hooked it to a doorway, and people walking into their face walking in saran wrap. Or the other day, RP was cleaning he's the dishes guy, and we put all the dishes out of the dishwasher and put it in the sink. And he was frustrated with that, but. And on stage too, there's always people dressing up in random outfits and walking across stage, or you'll see always practical jokes. Yeah.
So how do you prepare? Get yourself mentally, get all in when you're ready to do. Because I mean, the energy level, especially when you're talking about the Hot Rods and High Heels show.
Oh man.
I mean, the energy level that you guys bring to stage is unbelievable.
Have you seen it this year?
Yeah, I did. I saw it back in the spring.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, then this year. This has been my favorite season performing in Hot Rods. This has been I think the best production put together. You see a lot of different things this year in the show, and I would say the biggest thing is just caffeine. We're all you have to be so caffeinated during that show to make it through. I usually check my weight after the show. I usually lose about 3 pounds of 3 pounds of weight just from sweating and from running. I mean, the whole show you were constantly moving. So.
And how do you change costumes so fast? I mean, you guys.
I know, well, and people ask all the time, do we have a wardrobe lady that's helping us change? We don't. It's all us. We have lots of Velcro. Yes. All of our bow ties and ties are Velcroed. Shirts are Velcroed. So I mean, backstage is chaotic sometimes, right? It is absolute chaos. You walk back to those wings and you see clothes everywhere. It's just it is, but it's so much fun. That's what makes it so much fun, is that you're nonstop. We're moving just as much on stage as we are off stage. And that's the coolest part about it.
Okay, so besides the Hot Rods and High Heels show, now are there other shows at the Clay Cooper Theater that you're in?
I'm in 3 shows right now. So I'm in Hot Rods and High Heels. I'm in Clay Cooper's Country Express, my dad's show, of course. And then I'm in Dean Z, the Ultimate Elvis.
Oh,
Dean Z.
That's such a blessing.
Now let's just remind our Memphis listeners, Dean has won the Graceland Elvis, competition for how many times?
Repeatedly.
Yeah. He won it in 2013, and he's been he's the only Elvis tribute artist that's endorsed by Graceland Properties and Elvis Presley Enterprises. He is the absolute
He's the real
best.
deal,
He's saying something.
He is the most humble,
talented.
He's the best person to work for. He's just been incredible, and what you see on stage is what you see off stage. There's no, and I mean,
real.
I'm not saying that my dad's not like that, but Dean is just, he brings a different energy to the stage, and you can just see the passion that he has for Elvis.
And he's traveling in Europe right now, I believe, isn't he?
He just got back from, he traveled Europe, and he traveled a few different places this last trip, but he just got back in town. We've been working on the Christmas show, so we opened that November 6th too.
So there is Christmas music at Clay Cooper Theater.
That's right. Lots of it. Because I'm in 3 shows, my rehearsal schedule, I'm at the theater about 17 hours a day right now. I'll have a Christmas rehearsal 8 a.m., show at 10 a.m., rehearsal from 4:30 to 6:30. It's non-stop, but we're going to make it through, and we're going to open some Christmas shows tomorrow. So
tell us about the Christmas show. Just take Hot Rods and High Heels, for example.
So Hot Rods and High Heels, this year we have that Perry Como segment. We reenact the Perry Como show and show off Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., do a more Rat Pack feel. But this year we're going to change out the Perry Como segment and do a Perry Como Christmas segment. So you'll see some different things in there. And then in the second half, we have some it's weird this year because we're not doing songs that people have necessarily heard. Yeah. And I find that very cool, and I think that people that were around in that time period find it very cool as well, because they're songs that they're like, oh, wait, you know what? I do kind of remember that song. And it's cool because you always hear the songs from the 50s everyone knows, Rock Around the Clock and At the Hop. And this year, it hasn't been like that. And I think that's really cool.
It's the B-side of the 45.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, I love
exactly.
that.
It's the
That's
B-side, but
wonderful.
it's the best of the B-side.
Oh, best of the B-side.
That's what I love about the show.
Very cool.
Well, I know Clay has talked before in the holiday time, especially at Thanksgiving. One of the traditions is for all of the staff and team and production and everybody get together on Thanksgiving and have that meal together. You could have, 80, 100 plus, more?
Yeah. And once they get the families in there, maybe more.
Yeah.
And that's just a blast, too. We always put Cowboys game on in the background, and everyone brings food, and we just have a huge meal together. And then we do a huge Christmas party with the cast as well later in the year for Christmas. And I think that's what makes us so close is things like that. And,
right.
And it's just, it's very different from working other places, is that you do get that feeling of family, and that's a really cool part of it.
Colton, let's just kind of, when things slow down and it's just, the Cooper family, mom, dad, brother Caden, maybe grandparents or just intimate family members, maybe some friends. How does the Cooper family like to celebrate Christmas together?
Well, usually we always wear our matching pajamas.
Of course.
And my mom always gets us a pair of matching pajamas. And usually that night before, we'll go around and in the past we've visited old season pass holders that can't necessarily come to the show anymore. Yeah. We'll go to their assisted living homes, or we'll go around town and take pictures. Like last year, we took pictures in front of the Presley's Theater, in front of their nutcrackers that I just saw them putting up today. And Grand Country went out in front of their tree last year and took pictures there. And it's it's a cool time to thank other people in town that have helped us get to where we are, and we kind of spend time going to see those people, but along with that, going and supporting other businesses in town. And I think that that's something that sometimes slips away from us in Branson, or that has in the past, is not supporting other shows as much. And I think that that's something that really just makes us stronger, is supporting other theaters and other shows. So I think last year that was really cool, and I'd love to do that again this year.
Well, I love it. Yeah. Well, Colton, of course, the Clay Cooper Theater is where this, and of course, Dean Z, and what the Haygoods.
The Haygoods,
there's another Christmas show.
They open their Christmas show tonight on Halloween night.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and there's, I don't know who else is there, but
you got number one hits of the 60s as well. They're back, man, I don't know how long they've been at the theater, but they're just...
them been here for years.
Yeah, they're great people, too.
But no Branson vacation is complete without a stop at the Clay Cooper Theater. And I will say the Hot Rods and High Heels show is at the top of the list when you're in town.
Great.
I tell you, that's one of the shows. Last time, my mother-in-law, she came with us, and she said, I heard that show was really good. And that was her era,
Mm-hmm.
She had more fun. We just had a blast with her, She was singing along with all the songs.
Well, and that's the best part, is a lot of those people are close to 80, 90 years old.
That's right.
And you will see them dancing in the aisle throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome that they enjoy the show that much that they're going to get up out of their chair and move a little bit with us,
That's right.
And this year we changed more to the show than we ever have in Hot Rods, and I think that it was for the best. I mean, I think that the changes this year, we're doing Little Richard, Big Mama Thornton, and Bo Diddley, and as I said, Perry Como, Frank Sinatra. We're doing the Cordettes, Bobby Darin.
Yeah.
We have our Elvis medley, and we also, at the end of the show, we're kind of doing a remix medley where we do 1950 songs, but we do their covers from the 1980s.
Yeah, right.
So that my generation and even maybe a little bit older, they can hear the songs that they know from their time, and they're like, oh, this was 50s. So it kind of ties in the younger generation too, to kind of understand what this music was and what this music is, and how it still plays into today.
Yes. Yeah. One final thing I've been thinking about, because the chemistry among those in the show is so incredible.
Yeah, and there's nothing fake about it.
And I know
the chemistry is
real. And I was wondering now, have you been able to separate the professional life from your private life, in the sense, there's some pretty girls on stage. Yeah. I mean, is there any future possibility there?
Well, when you're talking about chemistry with all of our cast, I just want to say, for the guys that I'm in that show with, 2 of them I'm in 3 shows together with. We're spending 17 hours a day together. But then Jordan, I'm in that one, and Clay's together, so we're together all the time. So the chemistry just comes from literally being together 17 hours a day right now. And that can either hurt you or help you. And I mean, it only helps us. And it just helps harmonies and being tight musically and dancing. But also, when you're talking about chemistry, my girlfriend is actually in hot rods.
Okay.
So we've been dating for close to 2 years now, so she started as a dancer in Clay's, and now.
So
we're
what does her daddy? What does her daddy think about you spending 17 hours a day with his daughter?
Well, he don't mind it actually.
Because he knows where you are. He knows what you're doing.
He does. He knows we're always singing. That's all we're doing.
Amen.
Okay, Colton. How can we get tickets for the shows?
So you can call 417-332-CLAY or 2529, or you can visit us at claycooper.com, Clay Cooper Theater, any of those right there.
All right.
Very good.
Facebook, Instagram.
It's all there.
TikTok, all of them.
Appreciate you.
Colton Cooper, Merry Christmas. Thanks so much for joining us.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for having me.